Bellator welterweight tournament quarterfinal number 2. Jim Wallhead versus Rick Hawn. Jimmy, our tale of the tape.
You see here the record of Rick Hawn, 9-0, but this is a serious step up in talent. Judo Jim Wallhead is no joke, very experienced with 26 fights.
Jimmy's Inner Circle is presented by the new Matthew McConaughey film, The Lincoln Lawyer, in theaters everywhere, March 18th.
Well, no judo for Jim. Wallhead's nickname is Judo Jim, but he doesn't want to play the judo game with the Olympian Hawn. Thunder versus lightning. Wallhead is the better boxer, works angles well, but Hawn has serious KO power. That contrast will define the stand-up game. Send a message. This division is stacked with more well-known fighters. Both of these fighters want to send a message that they are serious contenders.
From Tachi Palace Hotel and Casino, Bellator Fighting Championships on MTV2 along with Everlast. Greatness is within. Now present the second welterweight tournament quarterfinal round fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in at 170 pounds even. As a professional, his record stands at 21-5 from Leicestershire, England. Introducing Judo Jim Wallhead. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in at 170.5 pounds. Undefeated as a professional at 9-0. He hails from Draycott, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Rick Hawn. And the referee for this contest, Jason McCoy.
The winner of this bout joins Brent Weidman in the semifinal round of Bellator's Season 4 welterweight tournament. Jim Wallhead is in the black trunks. Rick Hawn is in the white trunks. Jason McCoy is the referee.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's fight!
Round number 1. Our Bellator fight clock is presented by PSP. Step your game up. PSP now just 129.
And Wallhead is being pushed back. Rick Hawn really coming forward, trying to get that clinch.
Hawn felt that he definitely had the strength advantage in this bout, especially from that clinch position.
Well, he's a very thick, very stocky welterweight. Now, Jim did not compete on the level of Rick Hawn in terms of judo, but he does have that base. He knows what's going on. He can use his hips defensively. That's important.
Both are black belts in judo, and Wallhead very candidly said, I would get thrown all about if we were playing judo, but we're not playing judo. This is MMA.
But Wallhead, you see here, standing in front of Rick Hawn, I don't think that's a good idea. I think he needs to work those angles, use his footwork, especially stick that jab.
Wallhead told us that he has been training extensively in his native England on boxing, so much so that he is actually considering taking some pro boxing fights. That's a slapping leg kick there, outside thigh by Hawn.
You know, Hawn kind of reminds me of a lot of guys like Carl Parisian, another judo player, or Dan Henderson. Not a real technical boxer, but very heavy-handed and not scared to throw.
Hawn did say that he thought that he could throw Wallhead from the clinch. You know, Wallhead has competed at a very high level for the UK in judo. Actually competed in the Youth Olympics for the United Kingdom, did Wallhead. But again, Hawn, full Olympics 2004 in Athens for the United States. And also a 4-time U.S. national judo champion. His judo weight, Jimmy, was 81K. That's basically 178 pounds. But he said, of course, in judo, you weigh in a couple of hours before MMA. You get more than 24 hours to weigh in. Feels that he's a very small 170-pounder, though, does Hawn.
I don't think Wallhead is throwing quite enough. He's letting Hawn initiate. Hawn's throwing punches in bunches, 2 and 3 at a time. Wallhead needs to get that jab moving, get his footwork going. Right now, it looks like he's waiting a little bit too much, and Hawn's very aggressive.
Almost a Superman punch there from Hawn. Wallhead trying to pump that jab. It's another chopping kick there outside of the thigh by Rick Hawn.
Now, that's the kind of strike that pays dividends later on in the fight. Wear out that lead leg, really hurts your opponent's movement. Wallhead just not moving as much as he did against Ryan Thomas last year in Bellator.
Another kick landing by Hawn.
Good head movement by Rick Hawn. Oh, nice right hand.
Jimmy, you and I first saw Jim Wallhead 2 years ago to fight in Nottingham, England when we were announcing for M1, and it became clear that Wallhead may be Judo Jim, but he doesn't play a lot of Judo in MMA.
No, he does not. What's been most impressive has been his striking, his kickboxing, his aggressiveness. But right now, Rick Hawn being the aggressor. Right now, I think winning this round.
All stand up thus far. Another chopping kick. No check there at all from Wallhead. That's 4 times that kick has landed now on the outside of the thigh.
I like Rick Hawn. He's throwing and he's ducking that head under a very good slip. Now going for the trip.
Almost a back fist there by Hawn. I think that was more reactive than anything else.
Yeah, his head movement is really negating that lead hook of Jim Wallhead.
Kick from Wallhead. Definitely found the mark.
I think the grappling background of Rick Hawn is keeping Jim Wallhead from throwing a lot of kicks. He doesn't want to be on one leg. He doesn't want to compromise his balance.
Final minute of round number 1.
Rick Hawn, though, not hesitating at all to throw that leg kick.
Jimmy, are you surprised into the 5th minute of this fight and it's all stand-up?
I'm not necessarily surprised it's all stand-up. I'm surprised how well Rick Hawn is doing in the stand-up. He's throwing good combinations. He's moving his head. Looks like his boxing has advanced quite a bit since the last time we saw him.
Hawn got in the left hand. Nice 1-2 there by Wallhead.
Wallhead's just been a little bit flat-footed in this first round. Not as much movement as you would have expected.
Hawn's corner calling for head movement.
Seems to be doing that very well. He slipped a lot of big punches.
Another back fist from Hawn as we will go to round 2. Right. Rick Hawn, one of the most decorated, one of the most talented judo players of his generation, for all American judo players. Now trying to go to 10-0 in MMA. Hawn coming late to this sport, 34 years old. Failed to make the U.S. Judo Olympic team for the Beijing Games in 2008. He said, that's it for my judo playing career. I'm going to MMA. There's a nice chopping kick from Wallhead.
And it caught him extended. You see he had his left leg forward. It's a bad place to get kicked.
Jimmy, on your unofficial scorecard.
I gave that first round 10-9 to Rick Hawn. Was all on the feet, and I thought he boxed a little bit more effectively than Judo Jim Wallhead.
The Englishman, Jim Wallhead, is in the black trunks. The American, Rick Hawn, is in the white trunks. This round number 2 of our second welterweight tournament quarterfinal. Brent Weidman is already through to the last 4.
Let's see if Wallhead comes out with a little more urgency in this round. Wasn't that busy in the first round, didn't throw a lot of combinations.
No ground fighting thus far, and very little clinch game from either man. Left hand by Hawn, missed the mark, another thigh kick.
A good strategy is keep with what works. Rick Hawn is so far winning the boxing battle. He has no reason to go in and clinch and try and take Jim down.
Wallhead a moment ago threw his own thigh kick, starting to kick a little more. No kicks above the waistline thus far in this fight.
Well, when you're wary of the takedown, you want to keep your kicks low. But remember, Judo Jim told us in the interview, he said, I don't really kick high. I'm not that good at it.
Just as I say that, there's a body kick by Hawn.
And it still wasn't that high. You're okay.
No head kicks anyway. Hawn missing with the lead left uppercut. Finding a home again with that thigh kick. Just wailing on the outside of that left thigh.
One thing is that I don't think Wallhead, I mean, you never want to fall down 2-1, but he's not really a knockout puncher. He has a lot of knockouts, but I think Hawn is more heavy-handed. I think he wants to outbox Hawn. I don't know if he has the power to really take him out with one shot.
That kick that time caught effectively by Wallhead. Interestingly, we have not seen either man check a kick in this fight. Hawn again throwing that outside thigh kick.
Wallhead checked a little bit at the end of the first round. I think that's brought on by pain. I think those kicks are landing. They're starting to affect the front leg of Jim Wallhead. He's got to check. Pretty soon he can't put any pressure on that leg. but I like Hawn very busy, throwing a lot of punches, good combinations.
Wallhead going for his own Superman punch a moment ago. Hawn tried to throw one in round 1. Another thigh kick. Wallhead then missing with the overhand right. Straight left jab by Hawn.
I heard Mark Delagrotti in Hawn's corner in between rounds saying, stay busy, keep Wallhead defensive. He said they don't have to be big shots, they don't have to punch for 5 minutes straight, but stay busy. I agree with that. And right now he's staying busy, and I think winning this round again.
Wallhead starting to get off with the kicks, Jim. He's starting to establish his own thigh kick.
The problem is that they're best when you start early with the thigh kick. They're not a knockout shot. And they're a good setup. Kick the leg, and kick the head, but like, by his own admission, he's not much of a head kicker.
Getting the low kick there from Hawn. Low kick answered by Wallhead. It's a nice short knee by Wallhead indeed, Jimmy.
I like Hawn's energy so far. A lot of grapplers have trouble boxing for a long time. If they're out of their element, they get fatigued a lot more easily, but he still looks fresh, although we've been boxing pretty much for 10 minutes straight.
It's almost looking like K1 rules in MMA gloves. Wallhead now going for a takedown, could not find it.
Judo fighters have great base.
Incredible base, incredible balance. Bouncing the step of Wallhead. Oh, just missing with that left hand. Wallhead suddenly showing a bit more bounce in his step. So there, Jimmy, Wallhead feinted, actually blocking the kick. He thought Hawn was going to throw it.
I hear Mark Delagrotti saying, steal it, be busy at the end of the round.
Wallhead coming forward.
You see how Wallhead didn't want to stay there. He had Hawn pressed against the fence and went, I don't know if I want to clinch with this guy, and backed off again. Now Wallhead Hawn turning it on again.
Hawn just missing with that left hand. Dying seconds of round number 2. Judo black belt versus judo black belt. Jim Wallhead versus Rick Hawn. Here comes round number 3.
Right.
Heading into our 3rd and final round of this second Bellator welterweight tournament quarterfinal.
Round, you ready?
Jim Wallhead is in the black trunks. Rick Hawn is in the white trunks. Round number 3. Jimmy, on your unofficial scorecard.
Well, I have it 2-0 for Rick Hawn. 20-18. Last round was a little bit closer. You never know how the judges are going to see it, but I've given the first 2 rounds to Rick Hawn.
Wallhead trying to snap the left jab.
Wallhead now throwing a lot more punches, it seems.
Wallhead's corner telling him, Jimmy, between rounds 2 and 3, don't leave it to the judges. Finish this fight.
Bad cut looks like around the right eye of Jim Wallhead. Can't tell exactly what it is. You just saw him paw at it.
The danger of a cut like that, not a fight stoppage, but you just lose vision. A lot of vision in the eye as the blood trickles in. Twice now, Wallhead wiping at the blood.
It's because Hawn's been so effective with that lead hand, the jabs, the hooks. They've all been landing on the right eye of Jim Wallhead. Wallhead being a little bit more effective now with that right hand, catching Hawn coming in.
Hawn started judo when he was 12 years old, seriously started playing judo at age 14, told us, Jimmy, that when he came to MMA, he had never thrown a punch or a kick in anger in his life. He's made up for lost time.
Well, is he doing it in anger now? Yeah, it's just a job. Yeah, professional fighter, you have to hate somebody to beat him up.
Another kick by Hawn. To his credit, Wallhead, he's caught a lot of those kicks on the outside of the thigh, and yet he really doesn't seem bothered.
He really has. He's even caught a few on the ribs to actually grab the kick, but does not want to go inside and go for the takedown on Hawn.
That's a good kick by Wallhead. Hawn, to his credit, doesn't really seem bothered. Jimmy, you've trained enough Muay Thai in your life to know after a while, thigh kicks don't hurt that bad. It's attrition.
That's spoken like someone who has never been kicked in the thigh. Sean.
Recently, I've been getting kicked a lot in the thigh. I'd rather be punched in the face.
Oh, it
awful.
sucks.
Awful. There's a punch in the face, left jab by Hawn. But Jimmy, from a fighter's perspective, because you're training your muscles to that, it's an attrition.
Yeah, it's a lot worse in the third round than it is in the first.
Wallhead catching that kick. Not to sting on the kicks of Rick Hawn here in round 3 that we saw in rounds 1 and 2. Time called by referee Jason McCoy. That's exactly what it is, a mouthpiece out.
Where's your mouthpiece? Your corner. Me.
Ref a little confused as to whose mouthpiece it is.
Jimmy, I'll give my first. When I was a pro boxing referee reference of this season, when I was a pro boxing referee, that's a moment of panic when you see a mouthpiece out and you don't know whose it is because you don't want to let on that you don't know.
Must be.
Jason McCoy handling himself well. Time in. It was Wallhead's mouthpiece that came out accidentally. As a referee, you have to see everything, of course. Single leg.
Man, beautiful job countering that takedown by Rick Hawn.
Wall going for the single leg shot, and indeed the counter by Hawn. Just gorgeous.
Powerful hips.
So in the 13th minute of this fight, it's the first time that both men have been on the ground.
Hawn also a jiu-jitsu black belt. He knows what he's doing when it comes to the submissions as well, not just the takedowns and the throws.
Wallhead, you see, holding closed guard. Holding the left arm of Hawn tight to his body. Hawn throwing with his right hand to the rib cage of Jim Wallhead.
Improve your position.
Wallhead doing a good job of keeping him close, not giving up a lot of ground and pound, but he's running out of time.
Wallhead quickly back to his feet. That eye continuing to leak blood. The cut, I believe, is in the bottom lid of the right eye. It's either in the bottom lid or it's a mouse on the high part of the cheek. If you had a choice, you'd rather take a mouse popping in your cheek than a cut in your bottom lid.
See here, Wallhead really has to turn it on. I think it's desperation time. It was a very close round, but I think that takedown by Rick Hawn, I think, iced this round in the eyes of the judges. Wallhead really needs to turn it on here. He needs to finish.
Final minute of this fight. Almost certainly this will go to the judges' scorecards. The quarterfinal number 1, it went to distance. Brent Weidman defeating Dan Hornbuckle by unanimous decision. He's in the semifinals. The winner of this bout also through to the semifinals.
I like Rick Hawn still staying busy. He's still aggressive all the way through 15 minutes. That's great conditioning, Sean.
Hawn coming forward, looking for the clinch, couldn't find it. The bell, the end of the fight. When we return, we will learn the victor of this bout, Jim Wallhead versus Rick Hawn. One of these men will be through to this semifinal round.
Inside the Bellator cage for your decision, we'll go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Abe Bellardo scores about 29-28. Jackie Miller scores the fight 29-28. Your third and final judge, Marcos Rosales, scores about 30-27. All for the winner by unanimous decision, earning his place in the welterweight tournament semifinals, Rick Hawn.
I'm here with your winner, Rick Hawn. Thought you were a judo guy, man. That was all boxing, all stand-up. You did great. Was that your game plan?
Yeah, everyone knows that I'm gonna try to do the judo on him, and he's got a background in it, so I could feel that he knew it was coming. So, and he's a good boxer, and I wanted my boxing's getting better. So,
do you think that sent a message to the rest of the division? That's what everybody talks about, your Olympic status, your ability on the ground. But man, your striking looked very, very sharp. You think you sent a message to everybody else?
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone at this level is, I don't think they get flustered like that. But I'm improving every time, and you guys can see that.
Now, what's your opinion? You saw Brent Weidman. He moves on to the next round. What's your thoughts on the rest of this division? Are you thinking about who you're going to be facing next?
Haven't even thought about it. It doesn't matter. Everyone's tough. It's one fight at a time, and now I can start looking forward to the next, next one.
Well, Congratulations, Rick Hawn. Look forward to seeing you in the next round. Your winner, Rick Hawn, ladies and gentlemen.